It is day 6 of my spring decluttering challenge, and today I am tackling our Nook area. It's kind of this extra space that we have that's between the living room, dining room, and kitchen that we have an extra table for playing games and kids doing projects and homework on. We have cupboards full of puzzles and games. Our charging stuff is over here for our phones and electronics. It's kind of a catch-all space, and it's working really well for us. I did a really big declutter of this area back in the fall. I am not anticipating much to be in here today, but famous last words, we know it happened last week. So let's see what all we can find today. One last thought before we start. My husband and my son are home for spring break this week, so if you see weird shadows, you hear weird noise in the background, it's just them hanging out. And welcome to our Nook area. We have these matching cupboards on either side of the window, and then we have this table here for our charging station, a smaller table with 4 chairs for doing projects and games on, and then over on the wall we have some paper organization and a bulletin board. In the left cupboard, we have a lot of our favorite games, just so they're all together and really easy to find. And then we've got like decks of cards and things in the bottom, and in the one on the right we have a lot of our puzzles over here, and then other games that we don't play quite as often but still love, or ones that we tend to play when other people are here, like family or friends. I also keep any games for younger kids in the right cupboard as well. So we're about ready to get started. I'm going to put my hair up. Not that I'm anticipating a lot in here, but just to kind of get my game face on. So first 5-minute task is to look for any loose pieces you may find and get those put away. So apparently we have a dice or a die that was not put away. We have a bag of just random ones, so they must have gotten pulled out for some reason. So I'm just going to make sure that gets put away. And then another 5-minute task is looking for anything that you don't play, that you know your family doesn't play. It's been sitting here gathering dust for a really long time. It's okay to let it go. Another task you can do quickly is to look for anything that you know is broken or damaged. If the game is fine but the box is not, look for a different solution to store the game in. We have duct taped so many boxes for so long in the past. After a while, we're like, it's just easier to put this in a different container just for our sanity. We spend more time fixing the box than actually playing the game. Mason had to come say hi and check in, make sure I was doing okay, and just cheering me on as I worked. Another thing to be looking out for are any games that are missing important pieces. There are certain games that you need pieces for, and if you don't have them, you really can't play the game. So if you're missing those pieces, it's okay to let them go. Now that that is done, we're going to move over here, and I'm glad my husband is home when I'm doing this space, because there's a lot here that I just don't know what to do with. This is his rechargeable thermometer for when he cooks meats and things like that. He charges it over here. I don't like seeing the bright orange on my charging table, so I'm asking him if it's okay if we move it into the kitchen. There is an outlet by my bread box, and this could totally sit on top of my bread box, so it is right there next to the stove, ready for him whenever he wants it, and it could stay on a charger, so it's easy and reach and fully charged whenever he wants it. He thought that was a great idea. And did I not just open this drawer? It was fine. Somehow, by opening it again, I totally broke the drawer. I don't know what I did. I just opened it and it just fell right off of its sliders. So as you can see, I am on the struggle bus trying to figure it out. My husband is amused off of camera. It really was very funny. I was just a little frustrated because I'm like, I'm an independent woman. I can do this. And I did end up turning the camera off to let him come in and fix it for me. So thanks, babe. I appreciate you. And then just going through the charging station, not the charging station, but all of the cords and things, which was a big project that I did last year in the fall. and it is staying so organized. The only thing that was in here that we didn't need was the box for the thermometer. So he was just going to look through that quick, see if there was anything he needed, and then just get rid of the box. And then I made a deal with myself back in October that if I did not finish painting this by the end of the year, I was going to get rid of it. This used to be on the front of our house, but when we repainted, we took it down. I was going to paint it to look like Fawkes the Phoenix from Harry Potter. So I told my husband, I'm really sad about this, but we can just throw it out, let it go. And he's like, why don't we just repaint it and put it on the shed? And I'm like, are you okay with that? And he's like, yeah, it's history of the house and a really quick, easy thing. Add some decor to the shed, give it some character, which he knows that I love. So we put it in the garage, and if by the end of April it's not done, then we will get rid of it. All right, moving over to the other game and puzzle cupboard. Another thing to consider when you're trying to go through your board games and puzzles as well is that if you do not have the space for everything, you have to narrow items down. So only keep what you have room to store. When we bought these two cupboards, we thought that we were going to have so much room to grow and expand our collection, and we were shocked that when we put things away the first time, we had no space. So over the past 2 years, we've really downsized a lot. We did it a lot, especially back in the fall. And we're still not playing as many games as I'd like, but we have more often. So I'm counting that as a win. I do attribute that to us being able to find the games we want and actually able to get them out and put them away easier. I feel like that really has made a difference in us playing our games more. And then lastly, I'm doing the bulletin board. This I actually did a week ago, so really not anything that needs to be removed. I am straightening the push pins, but normally this holds the school calendar for my youngest son. It holds any schedules for sports or any field trips or any important information. That way it stays off of the fridge and we know where to find that information. We do have the seed packets that we just bought for a garden here, so I'm just looking at those really quickly, seeing if anything needs to be planted in the garden now. Is there anything I'm supposed to start seeds in? And just making sure that we're going to be ready to do whatever we need to do when it's that time. I am going to be starting some seeds, so I needed to get this room done because our greenhouse is going to go right here in front of the bulletin board. So stay tuned for that because that's really exciting. And this is just me touching base with my husband, saying we need to prep a garden bed so we can plant our Swiss chard. And then here's everything that we're either getting rid of or needs to go elsewhere in our home. Not too bad for today. I'm glad that some of my tasks for this week are really light and easy just because with my guys being home and then my college son coming home tomorrow, I really want to make sure that I'm spending a lot of time with them. This is also what happens when I don't look at my calendar before scheduling the challenge, so that's also on me. So some of the things I'll be doing this week were supposed to be next week, but I just rearranged it just to make life a little bit easier on me. And I'm still available to be mom and wife and hang out with my family this week. And like I said, really not a lot here today, but it never fails to surprise me. No matter how many times I declutter, I'm always going to find something every time I go through. If you're looking for some more in-depth board game organization and decluttering content, I will link that up in the corner. I think it'll be up in this one. You'll see the little card come up, but I hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching today. Happy decluttering. I'll talk to you later. Bye. It is day 7 of my spring declutter challenge, and I'm going to be completely honest. The weather is really horrible again this week. It's actually supposed to snow again today. It's April 15th, and we're forecasted snow today. I honestly just want to go back to bed. But today's challenge is fairly easy and quick. I think the hardest part is going to be going through my recipe binder, but I know I did that last year really thoroughly, so I'm hoping that will still be quick, but we'll see. So I am doing our dining room buffet today. This is the big piece of storage that we have in this room. It has small appliances. It has our junk drawer, batteries and things like that. It has coasters, recipe books, and just it's kind of in there. So it's kind of like a catch-all space. I tried to keep this fairly clutter-free, but compared to other areas of my home, I don't go through this one quite as often. At least twice a year. I try to do it more like 4 times a year, but life sometimes gets in the way. So let's get going. And here's what I'll be working on today. This is our buffet. It's actually a dining room buffet, but we've also used it as an entertainment center. We love this piece. It's very versatile. Behind the left door are cookbooks, recipes, and our ice cream maker. Then in the drawers are things like our coasters, tablecloths, extra napkins, our junk drawer, which is basically just our batteries, flashlights, and candles for emergencies. And the bottom drawer holds an extra ice cream maker piece and our pasta maker, and then the small appliances are behind the right door. If you ever do not know where to start with your decluttering, I always recommend spending a few minutes working on an area you can see. So I'm going to start by doing that and just making sure that our fruit is still good, just tidying this up. We keep our fruit here because we see it and it stays out of the kitchen, freeing up space for other things that have to be in there, but we're more likely to eat our fruit because we can see it. And then next, I'm going to spend a couple minutes just looking at our cookbooks, making sure that the ones that we're keeping are ones we actually use. I'm going to just clean up the shelf as well. So a couple really quick tasks we can do when we don't have a lot of time. Next, I'm just going to go through this top drawer, make sure there isn't anything in here that we don't need, and everything that's up here, we use regularly. I tried putting the table runners into the bowl, but realized that was going to be kind of hard to get to them, so I put all the organizing back the way it was. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And now the junk drawer. It's not a typical junk drawer. I just don't like calling it our emergency drawer. But if the power goes out, this is the drawer we go to. It has our batteries, it has glow sticks, our candles, matches, flashlights, all of those things that in an emergency, we need to find them quick. This is a really good central location in our home to find these items. And I did find a couple things that I had no idea why they were even in here, like the stylus for a tablet we haven't had in a couple years, but you just never know what you're going to find. I really did want to try to figure out a way to organize this better, but I wasn't sure what to do, so I just started putting everything away, and then let me grab some containers. So I went to the garage, I raided my stash of containers, I wiped them out because the last places these were used was in the kitchen. So just making sure that they're clean because I don't want to have any crumbs in here and invite mice or bugs or anything in. I'm just gonna see which container is going to work best. I did like this shoebox organizer for holding the glow sticks and the candles, but it didn't feel quite right. Everything was just kind of tight in there. I like my items to be able to breathe a little bit and just be able to get things in and out quickly. So I decided to upgrade to the bigger container to see if that would still fit in the drawer and work better. So I'm just moving everything over to there. And I have to apologize for the camera angles. It is very difficult. I need to figure out, I might just need to get a different tripod set up so I can get better camera angles because this is just not cutting it. So I appreciate your patience. All right, but got that bin in. It's looking great. I decided to try using this long, thin white one to hold our flashlights. And it was working really well. But then I'm like, hold up. I have these little tiny containers. I could use one for holding the matches and then the votive LED candles, just because those are so small and they get lost so easily in this drawer. So if I could put them into a container to keep them separate, we might be able to find them when we need them a lot easier. And it worked. And because I upgraded to the bigger bin, there was room for this container to sit with the other candles. I was very happy. The only problem is that the thing we get to most in this drawer is the batteries, but it was going to be towards the back. I didn't like that. So whatever you use most needs to be easiest to get to. So I rearranged. Everything miraculously fit. That does not always happen. And while the batteries can't lay flat anymore, they still fit and are really easy to get to. And then moving on to the bottom drawer, nothing in here that needs to be moved elsewhere. So we're moving on to the right door. So I'm just going to tidy up in here, and the little crock pot was sticking out farther than normal, and I realized our meat grinder was there, and it fits perfectly in the bottom drawer. So taking advantage of space that was empty and freeing up space in a kind of packed area, I felt like really big wins. I think we've only used our meat slicer once, but my husband wants to keep it, so I'm kind of not sure what to do, so we're gonna just leave it for now and see if we use it. All right, now moving on to the recipe binder. I love my recipe binder. This is a great way for me to just keep my recipes all organized. All the recipes are in plastic page protectors, so I can pull them out of the binder and not worry about them getting wet or messy as I cook with them. It's just been a great system. Now you see me freaking out. One of my favorite recipes from when I was a kid, I do not have to adapt to make it gluten-free. I did not realize that, so I'm very excited. We'll definitely be making those soon. And because this process went really smoothly and is kind of boring to watch, I figured I would answer a frequently asked question that I've gotten, not necessarily on YouTube, but other social media things, is about my tattoo on the inside of my right wrist. It is a line drawing of a crescent moon with like circles around it. It's actually taken from Van Gogh's Starry Night, which is my favorite painting, but it has symbolism for me. I have a lot of mental health issues, so there's a quote that I love about that: no matter what phase the moon is, it's still whole. So even on my darkest days and I just feel like broken and everything, I am still whole. And then another one of my favorite quotes is, be the moon, reflect the sun, but instead of being S-U-N, it's S-O-N. And so on like days that I'm really struggling, it helps me to be more like Jesus. So I don't talk about my faith a lot over here because I don't want anyone to feel like I'm beating them over the head with it, but it just really helps me on my dark days to remember who I'm trying to follow, and that doesn't matter how dark my days are, I'm still whole. Switching gears, let me show you the emergency drawer. It still looks really messy, but oh my goodness, is it organized and so easy to find everything, and we can just pull out the bins as needed to find what we're looking for. So happy with it. As I expected, there really wasn't that much in there that needed to be done, but knowing that it's done makes me feel really good. And then redoing the emergency supply drawer, I feel better now that I can pull things out. Things aren't going to fall all over the place. So just knowing that in an emergency, I can go in, I can find what I'm looking for really easily, grab it, and then just continue going on with whatever I need to be doing. That really makes me feel like prepared, I guess. So not too bad, but a nice, easy project for a very gloomy Tuesday. I hope you're having a really good day and that the sun is shining on you wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. Happy decluttering. Bye. Today is day 8 of my spring declutter challenge, and today I am tackling my coffee and tea bar. This is probably one of my favorite spots in my home. It makes me feel all good and warm and cozy and happy. We actually bought the cupboards with some inheritance money from my grandparents, so every time that I'm over here I always think of them, and it's just, I don't know, I love this area. So I do try to keep it fairly clutter-free. I've been really working on tweaking our organizing systems over the past couple of years. Having the new cupboards has really helped, because here there used to be a corner cupboard that we would try to store things in, and it was really difficult. So now that we have something that works more efficiently for us, it's definitely been easier, but there's times when we just find really good sales on tea, so it kind of gets a little crazy down there. So there's usually something that needs a little tune up, if you will. So enough talk, let's get to it. Here is a look of our coffee bar before. I do try to keep this fairly clutter-free on the outside and inside, but definitely on the top because it's an area we see all the time. And this is actually 2 cupboards put together because we couldn't find something in the dimensions that we liked in the style that we were looking for, so this seemed to work best. In the left cupboard are all of our mugs and extra coffee and tea making supplies, and in the right is all of our tea and our coffee supplies and our cocoa as well. As I've said many times in the past, if you don't have long to declutter, but you want to make a big impact, start with something you can see, like a flat surface. So we're going to start with the top of the coffee bar, and I'm going to start on the left and work my way to the right. So I am restocking our TARDIS cookie jar. This holds the tea bags that my husband has at least once a day, just so it's easy access for him. And you might notice a little bit of a theme when it comes to my coffee and tea bar. I have my TARDIS cookie jar. The picture on the left is the different meals that hobbits like to have, so like second breakfast, 11sies, things like that. Then the middle one is a Dalek coffee picture, and then the one on the right is a Star Wars coffee picture. So we're nerds over here, and I wanted something nerdy but kind of subtle, and it all kind of fit the theme, so I am a big fan of it. Next quick task you can do if you don't have a lot of time is go through your mugs. Remove anything that is broken or chipped, anything that you just don't use anymore. We have quite the collection, and what's even more embarrassing than this is that these don't include my daughter's collection or my older son's collection because those are with them at college. So we have a lot of mugs. I have 5 mugs that I use regularly, and they all have their own purpose. It's a little embarrassing. We definitely love our mugs here. And I was really considering narrowing them down because, as you can see, we have a lot. And we don't host as much anymore, so I don't necessarily need as many, but I would really like to start hosting things again more often. So if, like, by the end of the year, we really haven't been hosting more and really needing them, then I will narrow it down. But at this point, we have the room for all of them, so I'm not too concerned about it. If we had less space, I would definitely narrow it down more now. But right now, I think I'm okay. All right, moving down to the next shelf. And this has our bigger mugs, our travel mugs, and our water bottles. So another thing you can do quickly is go through your water bottles. Are any of them, are they in good condition? If there's any that are cracked or leak or don't stand up nicely, let them go. If there are travel mugs that, like, the lids don't sit on well anymore, or like they leak or don't keep your drinks hot or cold, depending on what kind of drinks you like, let them go. Another quick task you can do is wipe down a shelf. We don't get a lot of dirt or dust in here, but somehow this morning I woke up and there was water everywhere. I'm not sure what happened, so I'm just making sure that everything is really wiped down so that, like, the shelves don't get ruined, nothing gets sticky or gross or mildewy. So that's a quick thing you can do as well. I know the shelves on the right cupboard will need it more because, like, cocoa spills or tea leaves or coffee grinds, things like that will be more prevalent in that cupboard. And then moving down to the bottom shelf, this holds all of our extras, like our French press and a tea kettle. We don't need them. We haven't used them in over a year, but I'm so afraid that if what we use now breaks, we won't be able to make our tea and coffee. So normally I would say, hey, like, it's okay to get rid of them and figure out a different use if things break, but because we do have the space and it really isn't bothering us to hold these, I'm going to keep them for now. I don't always recommend doing that, but because I have the space and I don't need it for anything else, I'm saying it is okay to keep those items. Moving on to the right cupboard, I don't know what happens, but every time I film this cupboard, I never get my camera angle right. I don't know if I just misjudge the angle when I set my camera up, or my tripod, which is on its last legs, readjusts between me setting up the camera and walking into frame. I don't know. So I apologize profusely for the really bad angle where you can't really see what I'm working on, but I'm going to do my best to describe it for you. So we're going to start top to bottom, left to right. I love doing that because it helps me stay, on track, and I don't get distracted and start dabbling in different areas and feel like I'm not making progress. And it's really easy if I walk away to figure out where I left off. So just looking through these baskets, making sure that these are teas that we like, that they've been used or bought recently, and just trying to keep them organized. The top shelf is all the black teas that my husband drinks. I cannot have black tea, so the second shelf is all of the herbal tea and my favorite green tea that I drink almost every day because it really helps my stomach, and then our coffee supplies. So I'm actually restocking this little R2D2 tin, continuing on with the geeky theme, but that tin holds my green tea, so it's just easy to find, and it's really cute to open up the door and see a little R2D2 looking at me. So just making sure that everything is wiped up, and I will be restocking some teas in these baskets. I really was hoping that it was going to be in frame next time that I do tea and restock them. I will get a better video of this, but I don't know how well you can see it, but inside each small basket are boxes of tea with the top off of them, and then I store the tea bags in there, and then I have little white pieces of paper. It's actually from other tea boxes that I'm going to just throw out, and I make labels. So the labels stick up over the tea bag so you can see at a glance what flavor of tea is where, and that has worked really well for us. But storing the tea bags take up a lot of space, but I figured out a way to get them to sit inside of a box where I can actually fit 1.5 boxes of tea, sometimes even closer to 2 full boxes of tea inside one tea box. And all I do is I take the tea bags and I arrange them one right side up, and then in front of it will go one that's upside down, and then a right side up one and an upside down one, and that alternates them so the tea will fit in the nooks and crannies, because the tea bag will be in the bottom of each one. So if you just arrange them all upright, it's pretty thick, but if you alternate them, the thickness of the tea bag will go towards the top of the next bag, so it just fills the space a lot better. So that is a really neat and easy way to maximize your storage space when it comes to sorting tea bags. I don't think I have a video on this. If I do, I will put the card up in the top right corner. So if you don't see a card here, you will know why, but I will work on that if I don't find one. So right now I am just working on making a tag for a new kind of tea. This is an immunity tea that my husband just got me for free. I did pull out a few bags of it because my daughter has been a little under the weather this week, so I'm just setting that aside for her. I think we're going to see her in the next couple days, so that way I can give it to her and kind of give her an immunity boost. Finals are coming up in the next couple weeks. She has been so incredibly busy. Anything I can do to help support her, of course, this mama is going to do. So just continuing to work on making my labels and organizing the tea bags to maximize that space and just keep things well stocked in here and neat and tidy is the goal. And again, I sincerely apologize for the really bad angle. All you can see is my head bobbing around, and that's about it. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better with every video I do. Thank you for just being so patient with me. And then we're moving on to the bottom shelf, and I'm going to go through my cocoa supplies. We love hot cocoa. Sometimes we drink a lot of it, sometimes we don't, and some of our stuff is definitely expired, so I'm pulling all of that out, just trying to make sure that anything that is left in here is good. So when we do get a hankering for cocoa, we can know right away that we can find what we're looking for and that it will be good for us to drink. And then down here, I also have a bin for extra teas. So since I have restocked the tea bags in other areas. I have room for the extra of my green tea with lemon that we stocked up on recently. So that can all fit-ish in my basket. The basket holds 6 boxes of tea, but there are 8 boxes of tea total. So 2 are going to sit on top, but at least it's going to look neater and we're going to know exactly where all of our teas are. We also have a basket of like cold brew and sun teas down here, so really excited. We'll be starting to make that soon. And then my cupboard is done. It's not a huge drastic improvement, but mentally I feel a lot better about it. Here is a quick look at everything that I have pulled out, either for garbage or recycling to have my son look over or that needs to go elsewhere. Not too bad for a quick little project. I think another reason why I love this spot and like decluttering it is just because going through tea and smelling them and smelling coffee and the cocos is just really cozy. And if you know me, my love language is coziness. So I hope you enjoyed today and the tips and hacks that I shared with you. I still have a little over 2 weeks of my challenge left, so stay tuned for more tips and tricks and inspiration coming your way soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Happy decluttering. Bye. It is day 9 of my spring declutter challenge, and today I am staying in my pajamas. It has been a very long, busy week, and I am refusing to do anything except stay in my pajamas. But I do want to continue with my decluttering, so today we will be tackling my craft closet, D&D cupboard, school supply cabinet area. It is the old pantry. It's the original pantry for our kitchen, but because we moved our kitchen, we no longer needed it as a pantry, but it's worked really well for craft supplies and other things that we kind of need somewhat regularly, but don't really want to look at. So because it's behind closed doors, things tend to get cluttered back there really easily. As far as I know, the D&D and craft things are fine because a lot of the things we use for D&D regularly just stay in our gaming table, and we haven't really done any craft projects, but I do know that the school supply cupboard could use a little bit of love. So let's get to it. And here's the cupboard we'll be decluttering today. We won't be doing the top 2 cupboards, but these 2 big doors are the ones we'll be doing. The original kitchen is actually our now Nook. We did move the kitchen to the room that it is in now. We did that in 2019. So behind the left door is the craft supplies, and the bottom is our school supplies. It's nice having them in a central location in our home. And then behind the right door is our D&D cupboard. So all the books, our technology for connecting and doing the game online with our friends in Texas, all of our dice, things to run a game, and most importantly, our snacks are in this cupboard. So I'm going to start off by doing the craft supplies. I'm going to work top shelf all the way down and then move over to the D&D cupboard and work top down as well. So normally for a craft closet, I would say look for anything that's garbage, any broken things, anything that is unusable. So like dried out Play-Doh, dried glue, empty containers, things like that. But because we don't really have a lot of that anymore, I'm skipping that step. Granted, if I find anything like that, I will be removing it. But my first task that I am doing is just tidying our paintbrushes. Not all of them got put back into a container. I used some of them when I worked on the musical this past fall, and that is actually my musical bag that I have there with paint chips and all that stuff from working on the musical. I am the set designer for school, and so I never put things away properly, so I'm just making sure things get back into their container. And then next, I was finding random craft things, so I asked my son about them. It is kind of nice having my family home this week, so as I find their things, I can ask them about it. It does make filming a little tricky, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not as bad as I thought it would be. But I'm just trying to tidy, make sure things are where they're supposed to be. My son did not want his little Play-Dohs anymore, so we will be getting rid of those. I did find this box in the back here. If you watched my declutter back in the fall, you'll know what that box is. That is the paint supplies that my husband and I bought a while ago for a date night. We did do it as a date night for our anniversary, and we loved it. It's like the pour painting. I just forgot that it was back there. So now that I know it's back there, I will remember it. I should probably come back and like actually label that box. So mental note to myself to do that. But just going through and just straightening things up. Some pencils were in the wrong cup and just trying to make sure things are where they're supposed to be. Now this is where I start getting overwhelmed. You can just see that I'm looking around. I have no idea where to start with these school supplies. So taking a deep breath and just going for it. I'm going to restock pencils. So if you are trying to find a quick task to do when you're going through your school supply stash or craft supplies, things like that, you can declutter your cat that has decided to climb into your cupboard and be in the way, because that's what he does. But restocking anything, if you have a big package of pencils or glue, restocking like your smaller areas, if that is something that you do, is a great way to make sure that when you get in to do something, everything you need is right there and ready for you. But the reason why the school supplies got messy was because after buying all the school supplies for my youngest in the fall, he went about a week or two and then decided, this isn't working for me. I can't find what I'm looking for. And most of the things that we bought him, he decided he didn't want, which on one hand is kind of frustrating because we spent money on it. But the second hand, like, I'm so proud of him for recognizing this is keeping me from studying and like doing my homework and being prepared for class. It's not working for me. I need to do something about it. So as much as it pains me to know we bought stuff that is not getting used, I know that is here if he ever decides he wants it, or my older two decide that they need it. But just the fact that he recognized this isn't working and then did something about it, I am so incredibly proud of him. Like, so proud of him. But if you have school supplies on hand, just trying to organize things, put things, you know, like we have like a box of pencils here. We have a box of binder clips. We have a container down here that has like calculators and like compasses and things like that. Just trying to put like with like and have a home for it really does help. All right, moving to the D&D cupboard. I know not everybody has a Dungeons and Dragons cupboard in their home, but organizing tips and tricks will still come in handy no matter what area you are working on. So I'm just trying to, again, tidy up. I am looking for anything that I know we don't use, anything we don't need, any garbage. I did find a duplicate copy of a book that we have. It is one of our favorite books for like running like short sessions. So we have a role-playing game club at church. So I'm going to ask if they have that copy, would they be interested in something like that? So I'm going to put it in a pile to take to church with me. And then as I'm doing this voiceover, I realize that part of the problem in this container, in this cupboard, is that my containers do not have labels on them. Granted, we haven't really like played a big family campaign, or my kids haven't played in a while, so their stuff is staying really organized. But me looking through it, I have to look through everything because I don't know what goes where, so I need to label that stuff. Just a reminder, my husband and my two boys are home, so you'll see me talking to my husband, his hands come on screen a couple times, so a little distracted as I'm working on this today, but it's okay. I love having them home. It makes me happy having my family home. And my daughter actually came home and visited us for a couple hours yesterday, so it was nice having a full, like, all the laughter in my home. It made me happy. All right, but continuing on with decluttering, I noticed our snack box hadn't been going into the back of the cupboard very well, so we've been turning it on its side, which makes it like not easy to get into, and I found that there are comic books here that I was meant to give to my brother-in-law who plays with us on Fridays. So pulled those out to give to him, refilled our snack box, and now we'll be able to pull it out easily because we can get to the handle. And then here is the pile of things we are getting rid of or sending elsewhere. And apparently Jazzy really wanted to come be in frame. But here it is, the after. It really does not look any different. But knowing that the school supply area is put back together makes me ridiculously happy. I didn't find much today, and really, that's okay. It's a good sign. It means that my systems are working, and I have to just remind myself of that. If you're anything like me, sometimes after doing a decluttering session, you'll feel like, I don't know, let down because you didn't find a lot to declutter. But I want to encourage you, like I've been telling myself over and over for the past few minutes, is that I still made a difference. I still found things that didn't belong in there. I still reorganized some areas, so now when I reach in, I know what's going to be in there. I'll be able to find what I'm looking for, and it's just knowing that everything is better is just, that makes me feel really good. All right, thank you again so much for watching. All of your likes, comments, subscribes, all of that just means the world to me. I'm so thankful for you. All right, I will talk to you later. Happy decluttering. Bye. It is day 10 of my spring declutter challenge, which means I'm halfway through. I'm so excited. My house is starting to feel really good and peaceful. I know I haven't found a lot that needed to be gotten rid of, but still the areas that are done just feel more peaceful, and that's what this challenge is all about. For today's challenge, I am tackling our cleaning closet. This was actually the original coat closet in our house, but we don't use the door that they had been using as our front door. We have used another one. It just works better for our family. So we had this random closet that was kind of useless. So I made it into my cleaning closet. It's central to my home, so it makes it really easy to clean. Not that that's my favorite thing to do, but everything is right there. So when I do choose to clean, all of my stuff is there. So I'm not really expecting a lot in there, but I do know that there are certain things that need some attention. My small portable upholstery cleaner is broken. A piece is missing, which makes it really difficult to use. So I need to figure that out today. So that'll be something that I'm doing. And then it just needs to like be cleaned. It feels weird cleaning my cleaning supplies. Every time I think about that, I think about Danny Tanner from Full House cleaning his cleaning supplies, but I know that sometimes cleaning these things make them work better, and just knowing that when I go in there, everything's where it needs to be. You can see at a glance what I need to buy, what we're still good on, and just everything's where it should be will make my life easier. And since I keep a tidy home, not necessarily a clean home, anything I can do to make that job easier means I'm more likely to actually do it. So enough talk, let's get to work. Here is the cleaning closet. It was a former coat closet, so this bottom shelf that our upholstery cleaner is sitting on, we actually added that about a year ago. My husband installed an outlet so we can charge our vacuum cleaner in here. We added some more hooks just to make it work really well for us, and we have loved having this. So I'm going to start working at the top. I'm actually starting right to left today just because I know that the bin on the right was going to have some stuff in there that we no longer use. It was some free like dry Swiffer cloths that came with our Swiffer that I haven't used in the 2 years that I've had my Swiffer, so I'm going to see if one of my college kids wants them. I'm also getting rid of a vacuum cleaner attachment that I no longer use. So if you only have a few minutes and you want to go through your cleaning supplies, I recommend looking for anything right away that you don't use, that maybe you don't like the smell of, you don't feel like it works well for your needs, or it's just something you don't ever see yourself using. Get rid of it. I love this little 3-drawer organizer for little items like toothbrushes and sponges, the magic erasers, things like that, small bottles of concentrate for cleaner. That works so beautifully for us to store all of those things. I pulled out the upholstery cleaner. My husband asked what's going on, so I'm trying to explain what's happening. As you can see, I kind of use my hands to talk a lot, but he decided to look up what was wrong with it for me, so it was something off of my to-do list. So a perk of having him home is he is there to help. He just doesn't want to be on camera, which is fine, so I'm respecting that. And then just continuing to go through each thing, make sure that there aren't any empty bottles. Everything in here is stuff that I like the smell of. Like these are some room refresher sprays. Just making sure that the ones that I have are the ones that I love. And then just trying to tidy as I go, making sure things are in their designated spot, keeping like items with like items. And just trying to figure out a way, is there a way to make this cupboard, this closet work better? I'm playing with a rubber band here. I actually use that for making a homemade, like a duster. So instead of buying an extendable one, I just throw one of these microfiber cloths over the end of my broom, and then I attach it with the rubber band, and then I can get my cobwebs and things like that. I am not going through the microfiber cloths today just because a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, in my Facebook group that I have, like a organizing decluttering group on Facebook, I do Task Tuesdays, and about a month ago we all went through our rags. So that was a job that I had already done, so did not need to do that today. And then another quick task is wipe down a shelf or vacuum up an area. It's amazing how quickly dirt can come and live in a cleaning closet or a cleaning cupboard. So just making sure that everything is clean in here, and then continuing to empty out items that are in the way. I really want to get an organizer to hold my Swiffer and my broom. I don't know if I want them to go on the door. It's kind of hard to put them on the door because it is a hollow core door. If I want them to go on the wall on the inside right of the door, or like when you open up like the inside right wall. And then that bag is a bunch of miscellaneous items that I'm going to have to deal with later. Why it's in here, I don't know. But if you saw my bathroom declutter video, you will know that my hot tools live in here because there's space on the floor for them and there is not space in the bathroom. So since the bathroom is the next door right over there, you can see the sunshine coming out of it. It's quick and easy, keeps the bathroom decluttered, and just takes advantage of the space that I have. I'm going to vacuum and mop the floor now because, like I said, it's amazing how quickly dirt and things will just kind of show up around your cleaning supplies. Plus our dog and our 2 cats are shedding like crazy, so when we open our windows, their fur does just go right under the door here and just right into the floor where it just kind of sits and parties in the corner. So just trying to make sure that that is all taken care of. Question for you though, if you have hardwood floors, what do you do to mop them? Like, what have you found that works? My neighbor and I were just talking about like mopping and things like that. I am pretty lazy about it. As you can see, I just take the dry Swiffer broom and put a microfiber cloth on it. I have a wood floor spray that I just spray on the floor, and then I just quickly mop it up. I don't know if that's the best thing, but it is not damaging my floors, so that makes me really happy. So if you have something that works for you, let me know, because I would love something that works. If something works better, I would love to hear about it. All right, next up, our fly swatter keeps ending up on the floor, and then I need a spot to put my rubber band for when I need to make my duster for doing cobwebs. So I ran to the basement, I grabbed a couple command hooks and strips, and I'm going to hang those up on the inside left wall here above the vacuum cleaner. I think that's a really good spot for them where they're easy to be accessed, but they are not in the way of anything. So I'm just getting ready to hang those up. And as I'm doing it, I realize that the strips are not sticky, like at all. Even with like really pushing down and holding and everything, they're just not sticking. I really didn't want to put more nail holes in the wall, but I think that is going to be my best bet. I'd rather put a couple little holes in the wall than have these things be getting lost or be in the way like they have been. So I'm just putting a couple nails to hold those up, and I think that's going to end up working really well for us. I was halfway through doing this when I realized my son is still sleeping. I was decluttering a little bit earlier on this particular day, and he's a college student who's catching up on his sleep while he's home for a few days over Easter. And I asked him later, I'm like, did I wake you up? He's like, no, I was already awake. So, but still, I kind of felt bad because I remember those days when I was in college towards the end of the semester and just how tired I was, and just, I want to still continue with my life, but I want to make sure that he's resting as well. So thankfully, I did not wake him up, but the nails are working. Everything's great. I'm going to just start putting my things back in here. I decided I'm going to leave the upholstery cleaner out for now rather than put it back, just so I remember to try it out, so we can really figure out what is going on with it. So I still have that as of doing this voiceover. I still have to do that. It's kind of hard to clean your furniture when everybody's home and sitting on it. So we'll see how soon I can get that done. But there's the nails with my rubber band and my fly swatter. They're out of the way. I still can get to everything, but they have a home now. And here is the after of the rest of the closet. The only really big change that you see is the upholstery cleaner is gone. So it makes it look bigger and cleaner in here, but overall it just feels cleaner and just a little bit neater in here. I will be trying to use the upholstery cleaner later because after looking it over with my husband, we don't see what part is missing. So I'm wondering how badly I screwed up using it last time, because I don't know what's wrong with it. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. But like I said, not much in there that needed to be getting rid of. Just letting go of some things that I just haven't used in a really long time and just tidying it up, making it a little bit cleaner in there. Even just doing that little bit really does make me feel lighter. It doesn't always have to be these really big, massive improvement projects when we declutter. Even just doing one item really does make a really big difference. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. I still have 2 weeks left of my declutter challenge. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll talk to you later. Happy decluttering. Bye.